Listen to the 48 Hours podcast for shocking murder cases and compelling real-life dramas from one of television's most watched true crime shows. Go behind the scenes of each episode with award-winning CBS News correspondents and producers in Postmortem, a weekly deep dive. Listen to 48 Hours wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, so Twitch. I'm not having any problems with Twitch, but I'm afraid that it's going to get to a point in time where I might have problems with Twitch because based off of what one of my friends told me, and shout out to her, her name is Toxic Liz. She's a streamer too, and based off of what she told me, yeah, Twitch is kind of having some issues right now. But when are they not having issues? Because it seems like every time when somebody talks on Twitch, like, you know, in a way where it's like, is it, you know, a good business move to become a Twitch streamer? A lot of people have, like, you know, things to say about them. Like, they say that their website is just overall not good. They do obviously have issues, but I'm like, the thing is, though, like, I'm on YouTube, I'm on TikTok, I'm on a lot of different platforms, so it doesn't really surprise me, and I'm just more so waiting for the day where I'm streaming a video game or something goes down, and then I'm getting the blame for it, and I'm like, fam, like, if you know me, I do the bare minimum of, like, bad things when it comes to the internet. Like, I don't say crazy stuff. I don't do crazy stuff. I legit either start up a video, react to it, find the topic to talk about it, play a video game, whatever, you know, but I don't do wild or crazy things. So that's why I'm like, you know, if it ever gets down to a point, I think that's the route that it's going to go down. Like, I'm predicting it now, but if it ever does, I'm just going to, you know, overall let them know, like, hey, I'm not doing anything crazy. So it's like you guys need to check before y'all just start banning or suspending or whatever. But anyways, that's actually not the issue. It's actually a paying issue. And so based off of what my friend Liz was telling me, that Twitch got some bug that's going on right now where it will prevent small streamers from getting paid. And I guess, you know, in a way it does make sense because small streamers, they're all getting paid like roughly the same amount rather than the big streamer. It's like, you know, it just depends on how good their streams are. But a big streamer, like the amount of money a small streamer would make, and let's say like they're small, but they're big enough to at least make some sort of money. It would take us like weeks in order to, like, you know, get weeks, months, however long. It's going to take us a while, but rather than a big streamer, you know, the money that we make within a few months or weeks, or let's just say like we get to that point where we reach that threshold of $100, right? That's going to take us some time. You know, for a small streamer, when a big streamer, it's like they're going to make that type of money like within a few minutes, you know, or if not, they're going to make that all within a stream. So the thing is that I don't like get and understand is that why do you guys not have a team focused in on that stuff? You know, like it's just messed up that small streamers literally put so much work into their streams. Not saying big streamers, you know, aren't doing that, but I'm just saying small streamers put so much work into what they're doing just to get like the worst, just to get the like rough end of the stick. And I'm like, man, that's, you know, that's messed up. Like, nah, that's messed up on so many circumstances. Cause I'm like, fam, I'm putting in the work. Okay, I'm streaming day and night. More so talking on for Liz's part, because Liz, I mean, she is a very good content creator. You know, like she always, it's funny how like that's just like our joke, but I'm, you know, where it's like she says she's not, but I say she is. But no, like on the real, she is honestly one of the most talented and hardworking content creators that I've ever met. There's a day where we were playing Fortnite together and I was like, hey, yo, this was fun. I'm like, this was massively fun. And so I'm like, nah, we definitely got to do this again. But no, like it's messed up that that's what happens. And she was telling me all the whole situation. I'm like, that's so messed up. I'm like, if you have or if you haven't, definitely message like a support team or somebody, because I'm like, that's not cool. That's not cool at all. It's like hearing things like that, it just reminds me of the situations that I've been in, and I know the type of stuff that I would do. And I'm like, I kind of was in a similar situation like this a while ago. And I overall said, like, hey, yo, like, look, if y'all don't pay me, like, I'm going to expose y'all. So it's either me get paid or somebody's going to get exposed. I didn't get no response. So I'm like, oh, you must think I'm playing around. So I posted on Instagram. I'm like, that's just phase one. I'm like, do you really want me to go to phase two? Sure enough, after I made that post, then I got paid. Because I'm like, nah, I'm not with that. I'm not with not getting paid. And I'm like, I ain't did all this work. I ain't promoting you guys left and right. And I'm like, nah, that's not going to slide. And so I'm like, that type of stuff. I'm like, look, I'm respectful towards people. I just want that same respect back. Because if it was the other way around, where if they was promoting me and I wasn't paying them, they definitely would go out and about, and say some things that they need to say. They're not going to just be like, oh, well, we can't, nah. They're like, you guys going to be doing the same exact thing. Y'all going to be talking about this stuff. So I'm like, that type of stuff, it just don't slide with me when a person does a job and they don't get paid. That's like if you go to your job, right? You go to your job where it's like, let's say you work in a clothing store, restaurant, you work in a bank, bank, you work in an office job, you're working somewhere, okay? Now everybody else around you then got paid except you. And they're like, oh, well, it's taking a little bit longer for your paycheck to process. Everybody else is going out, paying bills, shopping around, getting them something to eat. They're doing all these different things in front of you. Everybody else is getting paid except you. And then you approach them and they're like, oh, well, it's taking a little bit longer. Or, they're coming up with, they're like, we're working on what we can. And it's like, no, you're going to be mad about that type of stuff. You are. You're going to be asking them, it's like, okay, where's my money? Because I'm like, I'm just saying that type of stuff just doesn't slide with me. My old job, I remember at my cafe, the job that I worked at, they did that one time. They were a little bit hesitant on paying me, but it all fell in like the right place and things, because I remember they paid me a little less money, and I'm like, you know what? I got enough to pay my bills, and plus like 2 weeks from now I will get paid again. And so 2 weeks passed, and it was crazy because it was like it felt like on my birthday that week when I got paid. And so I was like, oh, you know what? I like what you guys did there. That's cool. But if I didn't, and they just was still taking more and more money, it was like, oh, well, I'm like, okay, well, this is just going to add up on one big check, right? Because I'm like, nah, this ain't working for me. I'm like, this whole thing, that's not working for me. That's not going to slide. I'm not going to take that. I'm like, I ain't did the work. I expect to get paid. I'm like, I think a lot of people, they have not seen that scene in Straight Outta Compton. But I would definitely recommend a lot of people that do stuff like that, and you want to be all hesitant about paying people that's done the work. But no, watch that movie Straight Outta Compton and overall see what happens when they didn't pay Ice Cube and how he came up there with a baseball bat going crazy. Now, I'm not saying that a person would overall do some stuff like that, because with like Twitch and YouTube and any other business out there, unless you live in that state. But if you're like in a situation like mine where you live in Washington and there's literally nothing out here, then, I'm like overall, like, business wise, like YouTube, Twitch, and all that other stuff, then I can't really do a whole lot. But you best believe if I had lived in a state where Twitch headquarters is at or where the YouTube headquarters is at, I'm like, no, whether I got to take an Uber, or I gotta take the bus, or I gotta hitch a ride. I don't care how I do it. I don't care how I'm gonna get up there. You best believe I'm gonna be up there saying, who do I talk to about getting paid? And they're gonna be like, sir, we're gonna call security. And I'm like, no, you're gonna tell security. I'm like, okay, but then I'm gonna look at security and be like, okay, imagine what would you guys do if you didn't get paid? Security's gonna be like, you know what? He has a good point. Why haven't y'all paid the man? And then that's when it's gonna lead right back to the original question. Because I'm like, it don't take that long to pay a person, okay? If it shows there on documents that this person needs to get paid on this day, guess what? On documented paper, website, email, I don't care if it's a flown in letter from an owl's foot, whatever. I'm like, if it shows I need to be paid on this day, I need to be paid on this day. Now, no days later, no day. If it wants to be early, all right, I'm fine with that, but no days later. And I'm like, and I remember when there was the one company that did that with me, and I was like, hey, yo, like, and it was like on my, the month, like birthday month. It was in August when all this stuff had went down. And I'm like, hey, yo, like, what's going on? Like, why did you guys, no response, no response, no response? And it got to the point where it was past my birthday. So I didn't even I had to celebrate my birthday like pretty much a week later and things. Cause I'm like, no, I'm trying to save the money that I got instead of spending it and going shopping and stuff. That's what I want to do on my birthday. I want to shop around a little bit. So, yeah, it got to the point where they act like we ain't gonna pay you, we ain't gonna, well, they wasn't overall saying that, but they were all like trying to say you're gonna get paid within next week. So I'm like, all right, next week done passed by. I'm like, if not, I mean passed by. Like they said you would get paid within next week. That next week showed up and it left. And I ain't getting no payment. So I'm looking around like, okay, that John Travolta meme where he's like in Pulp Fiction, he's like looking around and stuff. And I'm like, was that Pulp Fiction? I think it was Pulp Fiction. I don't know. He had long hair and I would imagine that it was Pulp Fiction. But anyways, regardless, I was looking around like, hey, yo, well, what's going on here? I'm like, how come I haven't been paid? So I started getting impatient because I'm like, look, I'm trying to, I was trying to do some things that day. And I'm like, I'm stuck in a tight spot right now. And I'm like, it ain't like I'm making, I'm doing a whole lot with YouTube or anything else. So I'm saying, I'm like, hey, yo, like, you guys, like, come on now, this ain't right. I'm like, and so I said, I was like, I remember, I think there was one day where I was like, I was just going off. Like I was losing my patience badly. And I'm like, look, this has gone on for way too long now. I'm like, now, because I think it got to the end of the next week. So it wasn't even like that. When they said it was going to be within next week, like there was that week where they told me that. Then the next week came and showed up. So it was leading into the next week. Okay. And I'm like, hey, yo, what's going on? I'm like, this shouldn't have taken that long. And so yeah, it got to the end of that, and I think it was that next week. And I remember I emailed them, I sent them a message, and I was like, hey, yo, look, all right, now I respect you guys. I respect you guys as a business. I respect each and every person that's up there. Okay. Now I know things can get a little bit tight, and I know things can be a little bit hard at times, but I'm telling y'all right now, we're not even telling y'all. I'm like, well, no, I am. Cause I'm like, look, I need to get paid. Okay. I did the job. I, did what I needed to do. I need to get paid. And they act like they wasn't trying to respond. So I'm like, okay, bet. If I don't get paid by the end of the day, I'm exposing y'all. Now I'm like, trust me. I'm like, I will go above and beyond TikTok, YouTube, podcast, social media, anywhere possible. Okay. Anywhere possible. I emailed them that and I sent them because they were messaging me on Instagram. And then I remember that's what really had like made me mad was that at one point they read one of my messages and just left me on scene. So I'm like, okay, all that stuff started building up and it really started bothering me. So I'm like, all right, it got to the point where I said, hey, look, if I don't get paid, I'm exposing y'all. So I'm like, what's all right? Now it's your turn to make a move. No response. No, not reading, none of that stuff. So I'm like, so that's when I kind of just started looking around. I'm like, oh, these guys think I'm playing. They don't think that. They just saw he probably just saying that just because and maybe it's just me being paranoid. Maybe there was some stuff and my thing is this, if some stuff had went down, please tell me that. So I'm not seeming, like I'm, or like, being portrayed off as like as a bad guy in this whole situation. I'm like, look, I want both of us to be considered as good people. I don't want to do these things, and I hope that you guys don't want to do these things to me. But I'm like, that's just kind of messed up where it's like a person is doing the job and they're not getting paid. So I'm like, hey, yo, like if something don't happen here, I tried calling numbers, I tried doing whatever I possibly could, ain't nothing was happening. So I was pretty much stuck in a hard spot right there, because I'm like, man, you guys, like, what is going on? And so I emailed them and I messaged them and I said, look, if I don't get paid by the end of the day, I'm exposing y'all. And so they didn't respond. I said, okay, these guys must think I'm playing around. So I made an Instagram post and I tagged every account that I can possibly find with their names on that Instagram post. And a few of my friends, they started responding or they started commenting saying, hey, what's going on? What's happening? Or, overall adding these guys, and it was like, what's happening? Why are you not paying him? He did the job, pay him. So I just let that just all transpire. Next thing you know, later on that day, I got an email overall showing, hey, a payment went through. And I'm like, okay, that's all that I asked for. I'm like, I wasn't asking you guys to pay me money that I haven't even made. I'm asking you guys to pay me the money that I made, the money that shows that it's pending on this account and it ain't even going through. So I'm like, that's all I ask for. And I'm like, that type of stuff. I'm like, because knowing them, if it was been the other way around, guess what they would have been doing? Contacting me, emailing me, tweeting me, texting me, messaging me, DMing me, anything possible where they can reach out to me, freaking sending a note with tied to a bird's foot. They've been sending me every message as possible, stuff through the mail, whatever it is that they need to send me, they would have sent me it. And so I'm like, bruh, and I'm thinking in my head, like, well, because I'm trying to think, like, well, maybe I was in the wrong for saying what I said, or maybe I was in the wrong for doing what I was doing. But I'm like, hey, yo, you guys have never been this late before, so what is the problem now? And it just so happened to fall on my, like, birthday week. And I'm like, fam, I'm trying to celebrate my birthday, and you guys are just like, y'all messed it up. So I'm like, I'm really, like, I would say that I'm on good terms with them now, but I'm like, hey, yo, like I'm like, that's not cool, man. That's not cool at all. Now, and I did say, I was like, now, look, if there is something going on, please let me know. Because I'm like, okay, I will stop messaging you guys. I will stop emailing because I don't want to do that. I don't ever want to do that again. I don't ever want to be put in a situation like that again. Because I'm like, man, that's messed up. But I'm like, if something is going on, talk to a person about that. I'm not trying to just sit there and be, getting left on scene or not getting no, response at all. I'm like, that type of stuff don't work with me. I'm sorry. But I'm like, nah, I'm going to be annoying until I get an answer or until I get paid. So I'm saying in any situation where you guys is working and content creating or a job outside of content creating, whatever, and the person's not paying you, continue annoying them until you get paid. All right. So anyways, and that being said, I will talk to you guys later, but Twitch, fix your guys' stuff. Cause I'm like, hey, yo, I'm like, if I gotta go and have my friend, like, tell them like, okay, this is how you be annoying. Now I will very well do that. If that friend contacts me again, talking about how they're not getting paid, I'm like, okay, well then I'm gonna step in and I'm gonna make sure that they pay you. But I gotta be emailing and going crazy myself. But I'm like, that ain't gonna work with me. Cause I'm like, I already know what I would be doing in this situation. Forget telling others about it. No, I'm like, nah, I'm going to tell them the aftermath. I'm like, after they unpaid me and stuff, because that ain't going to work with me. So, but anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you, guys. I'm trying to like crack my jaw, but hold on. Okay, maybe it didn't need to crack, but I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on the podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe however it's set up. Make sure you subscribe to one of my 36 YouTube channels. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Instagram at TMossBoss. And make sure you follow my Facebook page at TMossBoss fan page. Also, if you're purchasing any tickets from SeatGeek, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. It will knock $20 off your first purchase. And also make sure you use my supporter creator code for Epic Games, TMossBoss. And in the meantime, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.